हरि करना।
So now let's get into the distribution or sampling distribution of a statistic. The term sampling distribution of a statistic refers to the distribution of some sample statistic over many samples drawn from the same population. I'm repeating this point. Sampling distribution of a statistic. You know that's what is statistic mean. Statistic mean any numerical value which is calculated for the sample. So sampling distribution of a statistic refers to the distribution of some sample statistic. Sample statistic. It could be mean, it could be average, it could be min, it could be max, whatever it may be. But it's a sample statistic or many samples drawn from the same population. So much of classical statistics is concerned with making inferences from small samples to very large populations. So sample statistic, a metric calculated for a sample of data drawn from a larger population. That's what we have discussed. We have seen what's the difference between a statistic and a parameter. Statistic is a metric calculated for a sample. A metric calculated for a sample of data which is drawn from a larger population. Then data distribution. Data distribution is the frequency distribution of individual values in a data set. We have seen this in our descriptive statistics course. In that we have seen this organizing data. In organizing data, we have seen distribution of the data. So it's nothing but the frequency distribution of individual values in a data set. Then we have a sampling distribution. Sampling distribution is the frequency distribution of sample statistic over many samples or resamples. That's it. I hope you got the point. If you know the data distribution, there replace the categories on x-axis with the sample statistic. There ends the matter. So data distribution versus the sampling distribution. So sampling distribution is the frequency distribution of a sample statistic or many samples or resample, and here is the example. So this is the data, normal data. If you take here, you have the frequency distribution of what? Of the sample statistic. What is that sample statistic? Maybe mean. So mean of the each sample that is drawn from the population. Okay, mean of the samples which are drawn from the population has been distributed, has been plotted this way. So this is the frequency distribution of a sample statistics or many samples or resample. So here the mean of 5. Okay, mean of 5 sample size. Here randomly they have taken the sample size. Here if the mean of 5, each sample should have a certain size, correct? So that sample size is, if it is 5, and here if the size is 20, if the sample size is 20, this would be the condition. Okay, so that's what is our data sample statistic and sampling distribution. These are the two very important terms you should understand.